Not Megan getting sued, honey. Not Megan back in court. They won't keep her out of court. Did y'all hear Emilio Garcia, honey? Yes, her cameraman, honey, her videographer. He is alleging unpaid wages, fat shaming, and wrongful termination. Now, the fat shaming allegation is wild, honey. The fat shaming allegation is nuts. Said that she would call him a fat bitch and tell him to stop eating. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's possible. Now, I think it could have been said in jest. You know how you say things jokingly, but you be serious. Because, honey, I'm sure it's been times that Megan asked to been hungry. You know them celebrities can't eat and stuff, honey. Especially when they known as sex symbols and all that. You got to maintain your weight and body and all that, huh? Excuse me, honey. So, yeah, she probably was mad that it was times Emilio was eating and her ass couldn't. Honey. Emilio, yes, one of the queers. Yeah, shout out to Emilio. Yeah, honey. Emilio also spilled some tea, honey, said that he seen Megan freaking off in Ibiza, honey, with another women's. While she was on a girls trip in Spain in Ibiza. Running his damn mouth. Said that she forced him. But then later says that, you know, she had to verify that he even seen it. She wasn't even aware that he saw it. And then told him not to say nothing. Well, that sounded like she didn't want you to be there. It don't sound like she was forcing you to be there, Amelia. Child, honey, I'm gonna let Megan Cooner, yeah, honey. You know they be trying to turn on trade for y'all, honey. Yeah, y'all know I would slay Amelia, honey. She thick. Child, but let's get into Megan Cooner. What does Megan Cooner have to say? Megan Cooner then really became a star online, didn't she, honey? Since the Megan Tory trial, honey, that Armand covered better than her.
About this Megan Thee Stallion lawsuit, I was like, oh, that sounds like a West Coast trial lawyers lawsuit if I've ever heard one. Sure enough, not only is it West Coast trial lawyers, it's actually the lawyer who's suing Lizzo. And the complaints are pretty similar. I mean, it's overall, it's an employment lawsuit. And when you look up the lawyer for West Coast trial lawyers who filed it, he's an employment lawyer. Like, this is not, I mean, the harassment charge is hostile work environment harassment, which is a employment charge. That's not like sexual harassment. It's definitely not the same as the Diddy case. But
honey, Megan said, it sounds like Megan said it's a little trumped up. So the sexual harassment ain't even a part of the lawsuit. So Megan got me thinking, well, why did Emilio even bring that up just to spill the tea? Honey, y'all, it's leap year and y'all out here leaping. Child, y'all gonna end up leaping into the wrong pond. Y'all gonna leap into a pond full of alligators, honey. Child. But you know the girls is on the case, honey. You know the girls is on the case, honey. The girl said that Emilio ain't a reliable source, honey. We'll get into it.
She was super sweet. Miss Holly was super sweet. And I was really just like in awe like of her talent. Like once we got in the studio, like and just watching her work. Because I'm someone like I'm such a fan of like rap music and specifically female rappers. And so to go in the studio to see someone who I was a huge fan of and just to be recording her, I was so like, oh my God, like she's so talented.
Child was fanning out. Emilio was fanning out, wasn't he, before he had all them tattoos, didn't he, honey? Yeah, talking about working with Mag.
Let's get started. Alright, so today's video is going to be about something that I've kind of been wanting to discuss. I just didn't know when or how I was going to get into this. And first things first, please excuse me, this video is kind of like spontaneous. I was just like lounging around and doing domestic duties around my apartment because I gotta go to work in a little bit. So this video just kind of it's just coming from the heart, from the corazón. Boom, 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 boom. So for the past 2 years or so, I've kind of been dealing with what I thought was depression, which turned out to be depression. I didn't know what exactly was going on. I noticed that I really had like lost motivation to do everything. I didn't have the will to get out of bed. I didn't have the will or desire to do anything other than go to work. I really didn't have the desire to do that either. So, you know, I would call in every now and then, but I need a job, so I couldn't just call in constantly. It was starting to affect like every aspect of my life, like my friendships. I would kind of just like ditch. Like if they would like invite me places, like I would just like politely decline and then get FOMO afterwards. I mean, it just really took over my life. Like I didn't want to do anything. If it involved me getting out of bed, I just had no desire to do it. And at first I thought it was like just like laziness or like chronic procrastination. Like the worse it got, the more I researched. And all of these things I was feeling were symptoms of depression. So I'm like, damn, like, do I have this? Do I not? I checked, you know, I did like the whole WWMD, and it didn't say I was dying like every other headache or stomach ache will say online, you know, oh, symptoms of fucking death. But, you know, it did say like everything kind of led to anxiety and depression. Right off the bat, I was like, well, I mean, I could easily fix this with medication, but I don't want to do medication. I've always been pretty skeptical of antidepressants and just medicine in general. I like to go all other routes before I take medicine. It's just a preference.
Just the preference. Just the preference. Your depression taking over your life and you don't even want to try medication. Honey, baby, I'm going to try anything I can. And that is exactly what Megan's camp and her lawyers are going to argue. If you're truly concerned about these wages and keeping this job, because he is accusing this whole Megan employment situation to have caused him depression. Well, it's not the cause of your depression, but it could help to excite a bout of depression. It could help to onset a bout of depression. That's the real thing. And that's what his lawyers will argue if they're smart. But the girls is helping Megan build their case, honey. They saying, rumor on the block, honey, they saying that she really got fired. They're saying that Emilio really got fired because he's a barb. If this is true, I'm sure, allegedly, allegations, honey. If this is true, I'm sure the girls will come up with receipts of Emilio's barbishness, Barbie status. Honey. Child, don't get me lying. Honey, everybody got a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit, and you get a lawsuit, and you get a lawsuit this year. Honey, you get a lawsuit. What is Emilio talking about on here?
And let's like give it a shot. And so I was super excited, and but I was working at the courthouse, and I was like, I was a lead clerk, so I had to be there every Saturday. So I called in sick to work. And I showed up to the studio, and she recorded a session, and that ended up being the first episode of her vlog series Hottie World. And yeah, it's just been magic ever since. Like the first year of me working with her, like I was working full time at the City of Houston courthouse downtown.
He ain't saying nothing spectacular. But yeah, that's when he was a part of the crew. Honey. People can make things look good in pictures, but it surely looked like Emilio was having fun. So Emilio, you either a good actor or it wasn't that bad working with Melanie. I was going to say working with Melanie. It wasn't, or Emilio, it wasn't that bad working with Megan. But you just try and get a coin, honey. And I can't say I understand because I ain't going to be trying to sue nobody unless I think I really got a case. But that's just me, personality, honey. Yeah. Blame it on the rain.